Welcome to the Carl B. Phillips Show, hosted by gospel music industry veteran, recording artist, songwriter, producer, radio announcer, and actor, Carl B. Phillips. Join Carl as he talks with gospel recording artists, producers, songwriters, pastors, and other creatives about music, ministry, and life. Get ready for another great conversation on the Carl B. Phillips Show.
This week's guest on the Carl B. Phillips Show, author and podcast host Kamilah Sunshine Foster. Welcome to the Carl B. Phillips Show. I am Carl B. Phillips, Uncle Carl. Today's guest is a published author. She's an actress, singer, songwriter, and the host of the podcast Keepin It Real Conversation with Sunshine. Please help me welcome Sunshine. How are you this evening?
I am amazing. I love it.
You love it. All right. As I said, I'm going to ask a very random question.
Okay.
If you had to go without drinking coffee or tea for the rest of your life, which one would you choose to live without?
Let's go with coffee.
And why coffee?
Since I'm doing more singing, I think I need more tea, more than I need coffee.
Okay. That's a good reason. Because you are now a part of a recording choir.
Yes.
So I was at the recording session, so a great job to David Whitfield and Whitfield Production. How did it feel to be a part of a recording choir?
It was very exciting. This was my first recording, so I was kind of nervous, but not nervous. Mm-hmm. We worked really hard on this production. And God met us there. God met us before. God met us every rehearsal. God did what he said he was going to do. And the who's who of Detroit, metro area was in the building, supporting David Whitfield and David Whitfield Production. So we were sold out, even in the rain. People wrapped around the building trying to get into the recording, and it felt really good. And I'm glad that God got the glory and not us. So,
yeah, I had a chance to talk to David before the recording. He did my podcast, and he was so excited about what was going on working with Aaron Lewis, and it was good to see what he did for the city of Detroit musically, keeping that Detroit sound alive. How do you like working with David?
Well, we have history. Actually, I knew David back when he was directing with Chris Jones.
Okay.
And I was actually going to join Chris Jones' choir, but then unfortunately he had passed away. And so I knew him from being around the choir. My sister, cousin, whatever you want to call her, Tawana Bell, Dr. Angela Catwell. I knew them when I was a teenager. So to see David now, it's amazing. He's so cool, so down to earth. But when it's time to get to work, it's time to get to work. But I enjoy the choir. I enjoy every person that is a part of our the ministry that he has. And I can't wait to get out there in the streets and promote this album and all those wonderful things that's about to happen for us.
Most definitely. Now, I'm going to be honest. That was not on my list of questions.
Okay. That's fine.
You know how it is because you're a host and sometimes you just go places.
Go places, yes.
So let me get to my list. First question. What were your childhood dreams of what you wanted to be when you grew up?
Ooh, that's such a loaded question. So as a kid, I grew up in a Baptist church, Wayside Missionary Baptist Church with the late David N. Ford. My parents really pushed us to be involved in church. We wasn't going to be, as they say, lay members. No. So I was acting, singing, dancing, pageants, all of these wonderful things as a kid. So I believe that it set me up for what I'm doing now. So it came whole circle from what I was doing as a kid, I'm doing as an adult now. But growing up, I wanted to be a computer engineer person.
Oh wow!
Actually,
And what?
I had dreams of, being in professional sports, but that didn't happen. But however, I was a nerd. I was a jockey, but I was a nerd.
So a nerdy jockey. I don't think I've ever
Yes.
heard those terms together before.
No, you probably have not. But my parents didn't play. You were going to excel, especially if you wanted to play sports. It wasn't a thing of bringing a C home. Yeah, right. Especially when you have parents who know your potential. So if I wanted to play sports, I had to be an A-B student. So there's the nerd part. And then, physically, I played every sport almost.
What was your favorite sport to play?
I'm going to say softball.
Okay.
In high school, when I graduated, I had a full ride to Albion College. I didn't know about Albion, so I decided to go to the University of Michigan in Ann Arbor. But I regret passing up a full ride to play softball.
Yeah, full ride. That stay out the parents' pockets. you
it's
live
just
and
one of
you
those
learn.
things. Yes.
When did your passion for helping others begin?
Probably all my life. I've always been the help everybody. So I was a big tomboy. I wasn't feminine at all. So I was always the girl who would go save the other girls from the boys.
Wow.
I was always, helping the elders because that's how my parents were. So it started as a kid. Like, yeah, don't mess with them or you're going to have to deal with me. So I didn't like bullies. I didn't like none of that. And I actually preferred fighting boys than I did girls.
Ooh, you were a nerd that would fight.
Prime example. So remember back in the day when there was Electric Boogaloo, right? And they had the guys dancing and, doing their little, and it was always one girl in the group. That was me.
The one girl that don't play.
Don't. So, being around that type of atmosphere, you have to be able to carry your own self. Like, so when they went, I went. So yeah, I was the big tomboy in the group.
You're also the author of the book, The Blueprint God's Design. What was your inspiration for writing the book?
So pretty much I went through a stage where I was taking care of God's business. I was not really taking care of God's business. Now that you think about it, I was trying to do his job and I was failing bad. And because I was doing that, it was bringing more harm to myself because it was not what I was supposed to be doing in the first place. And so he sat me down and he's like, you need to reset. You need to figure out why these things are happening to you. And I was trying to take care of my mom. I was doing all these things that had nothing to do with me. And I realized that in doing these things or away from the blueprint, you're losing time. You're losing your health. You're losing all these different things where you don't have to lose anything if you do it my way.
Right.
So get back to the blueprint. You'll never go wrong.
So I think you bring up an interesting area of discussion because you talked about your passion for helping others, but you also mentioned you found yourself losing yourself while helping others. How did you find that middle ground where you could still help others, but still find that time that you needed to be you or your time with God? How did you find that middle road?
So I kept finding myself depleted, no energy, in the hospital, different things that just kept happening negatively, because I didn't consult God in my
Mm-hmm.
helping. I didn't ask God, should I? Do I need to? Because sometimes, unfortunately, as human beings, we play on people's emotions.
Mm-hmm.
You want to say the right thing to, get your pocket open, or you need this help, or manipulation, as we would say.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of that was manipulation, but for me being gullible and not having discernment, or not asking God, should I help this person? Should I go out my way for this person? It ended up hurting me in the end. So that's basically what happened.
One of the things that life has taught me, it's okay to say no,
Mm,
and you have to respect my no.
okay.
Are you at that place in life now where
I
people need to?
am. And I realize even on today that some people are seasonal,
Mm-hmm.
and you have to understand to let them go in
Right.
certain seasons. I was one of them people that I tried to be loyal. I tried to be everything to these people. And it was like, no, all this energy that you putting into them, all this money and investments and all these different things, and nothing. It's like trying to get blood from a turnip.
Right.
No, that wasn't your job. And so I had to understand this part is not called rejection. He's saving you for something else. He's saving you for the right friends. He's saving you for the right opportunities. And if you keep being stuck to the wrong people, you're going to stay stuck. So I had to wake up, come to myself, like, okay, God, I'm going to do it your way. And
You,
then all of a sudden, those weights, as we call some friends, um, they started to fall away. And I was like, okay, now I really see. Sometimes we can be blinded by what you really want. You
mm,
really want friends. You really want somebody to love you. You really want all these different things. And the people you choosing are not the ones to give it to you.
it's it's interesting because you kind of remind me of the prodigal son. Prodigal
Mm-hmm.
son had everything and walked away and had nothing.
Mm-hmm.
But he came to a realization that I can go back to my father's house because his servants are treated better than what I'm being treated right now.
Yes.
Do you feel at this point in your life now that you're at that place where God has kind of opened your eyes and your understanding to even like relationships of where you need to be in life now? Are you there?
Absolutely. Sometimes we have to take the hard lessons, and sit down and reset and do it right the first time. Sometimes we get tired of crying. You get tired of feeling lonely. You get tired of feeling like, why isn't anybody choosing me? Like, I'm dope. And he was like, you're going to be dope for the right people, not the ones you think are going to get you somewhere, not the ones you think are really who they say they are. And most of the time, they're not. So it's like, okay, I'm tired of hitting my head. I'm okay now. There's no more bruises on my forehead anymore. There's no more tracks of tears on my face anymore. I'm in a happy place. Like, I am really, really, every time I turn around, God keep opening doors and blessing me. And one of the biggest things that I have, I am a giver.
Mm-hmm.
And every time I give, he comes back and blows my mind. It's not always the money. It could be my health. It could be opening doors for somebody in my family. Whatever the case may be, you can't be God's given, no
No matter
matter how
how
hard
hard.
you try. And he has constantly proven himself, even in the opportunity of always being humble and nice to people, because you don't know when you'll need them later. You don't know, a smile goes a long way. Every time I used to see you, and I'll bump into you at the random places, like, Mr. Phillips, how you doing? I said, one day we're going to be on the show together. Manifested, you came on my show. the last time I saw you, we gonna get together and I'm gonna be here tonight. So again, everything doesn't have to happen right then and there. Timing is everything.
Most definitely.
Everything.
The other thing too, I think you bring up a good point about being nice, because when you're nice to people, you never know who may speak your name in a certain room. And I think sometimes as creatives, we can get so caught up in what we're doing that we forget you just need to be nice to everybody,
That part.
because you just never know who can say, you know what, sunshine would be good for this. Or you may run into somebody and say, you know, Mr. Phillips would be good for that. So just be nice. Even
Yeah,
on your bad days, be nice.
you just don't. It has happened so many times of, the favor of God, just being who you are
Mhm.
all the time. Doesn't matter. A lot of times in our industry, sometimes they'll get people to try to jump on the bandwagon with somebody else. Like, no, that they didn't do nothing to me. I don't have nothing to do with that. But however, stay true to yourself.
Right.
And when I started my podcast, it was during the pandemic. And basically, God told me that I was going to become the help that I once needed
Mhm.
for myself. And so this is why I go so hard, because at the end of the day, it's a village. We need each other.
Right.
I can't be me without you. You can't be you without me. And whatever the connections might be, if it's help, if it's, like you said, saying a name in a different room. I got a call yesterday from a well-known drummer. And he said, you know what, sis? I know you know everybody. And I'm like, no, I don't. But yes, what's your question? He's like, do you know of someone who could video, do this and do that? So I'm dropping names because guess what? They've been on my show before, or I
Mhm.
have connections with them. So again, this is what I'm here for. This is the Rolodex. It's the
Wow.
whole village. Like I can call, someone. Yeah, y'all need a host. Oh, I know a person that did hosting for years better than me. Absolutely. I can call and ask and see what his schedule is like. This is what we're here for. It's not about you.
That is so true. So you bring up your podcast, Keeping It Real, Conversations with Sunshine. You
Hmm.
talked about starting it during the pandemic. Why did you start the podcast during the pandemic?
So this is okay. So I used to be a mail carrier in the
Mm.
city of Warren. And this is the time where everybody was supposed to be in the house. We wasn't supposed to be outside. Well, for us, we still had to be outside delivering mail in the crazy climate that it was. And I know as humans, we always want to feel like somebody cares about us,
Right.
even if you physically can't touch me. And so when we were down, I would get on Facebook and I would just randomly talk to people. And come to find out, our circles were intertwined with each other.
Hmm.
And this is where my 6 degrees of separation came in. Because I know so many people in your circle, and you know so many people in my circle. Let's just, connect with one another. And it
Hmm.
started getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And and then for that part also was information, true information, facts.
Mm.
So I
Mm.
had COVID. I was the first case at the Warren Post Office.
Wow.
They had no clue, no idea what was going on. And so I was the first one to indulge in it with 2 weeks of pay. It wasn't vacation, but it was what happened. I felt like I had a fight with Mike Tyson from the top of my head to the soles of my feet.
Hmm.
I went to 2 different hospitals and they said, yes, you got the symptoms, go home and quarantine. I did that. And I didn't have the cough, but I had everything else. I lost my taste. I lost my smell. I could
Mm.
barely hear. My body ached, headaches constantly. And it was get the information out.
Hmm.
Once I began to start healing with all the different remedies that I was doing, it was Stop the fear of if you get COVID, you're automatically going to die.
Right.
I did not die. I'm still here. So when I had people in my circle that contracted COVID, I'm telling you what you can do to help yourself.
Mm.
All of those people are still alive today. So if we always went back off of what we saw in the news or some of these negative people, you would think as soon as you get COVID, you're dying.
Right.
So it was starting to be information. I had people on there who had AIDS, who don't have AIDS to this day. I never heard of that before. Let's talk about it. People who had diabetes, people who had high blood pressure, all of these different diseases.
Mm.
I know them and I can touch them. They're still here today. Why? Because they were sharing the information on how you also can be healed.
Wow.
If you have a book, if you have a movie, if you have all of these wonderful things, I need it for myself. So why not? You can come on my show for free. I'm not going to charge you. Why? Freely God gave it to you. Freely you give.
Mm.
That's what I'm about. So one thing that God is never going to say to me is, I gave you all these talents and you buried it in the ground. Nope. At 47, I'm still going strong. At 47, I'm still figuring out all the other gifts that God has given me.
I love that parable about the talents, about the one that he gave one talent, the one that he gave three, and the one he gave five. And a lot of times we get that one talent and we just want to hold on to it. But you have to learn to multiply your talents that God gives you.
Absolutely.
Or as the young people say, multiple streams of income.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I always used to despise people who used to tell me and others who are gifted in so many things, like, you need to focus on one thing. Who say? Why? When I can do it all.
Right.
Whether I'm writing, whether I'm singing, dancing, acting, whatever it is at the time, it's all seasonal. And sometimes it's back to back. You don't know what I'm going to be doing. You just got to follow me. That's it. Follow me.
What are some of the challenges you face in starting and maintaining your podcast?
Money. Because at first you think you have to have all these big computers and cameras and all these different things, and you don't. I started off with a computer and a mic, and then it evolved. You have monthly subscriptions that you have to pay for to keep it looking nice and what's best for your income. The other thing was getting people to watch the show or share it, subscribe to it, especially being on YouTube. I still struggle with that a little bit, but I don't focus on the numbers. Who needs to see it will see it. When it's time to blow up, it will. But I don't focus on that. That's not my mission.
Yeah, I think you bring up a good point because I'm in the same place. For me, doing this show is one, creating a platform for people to talk and share their story. And I'm like you, if I got 5 views, I'm good. If I got 0 views, I'm good. If I got 100 views, I'm still good because I feel as if I'm doing what God wants me to do in this season. And I'm happy doing it. And are you kind of like that also?
Listen, I don't get paid to do this.
Right.
This is something that I do freely. And it really helps me with the point of I get excited to learn about new human beings. I realize in doing this over 500 and some episodes that we are more alike than we are different, but you'll never know that until you talk.
Right.
And so I just be like, you know what? I did that too. Yep. I know. I've been there, done that. And so we get to having a whole different conversation. You realize an hour go past so fast because you're having fun.
Right.
I don't do interviews. I have conversations with people. It's totally different. So when people say interview, most of them clam up or they don't want to do it. But if I say I'm having a conversation with you, it's like I'm your sister. I'm your homegirl. I'm your auntie, your cousin, whatever, because God has gifted me to make people comfortable.
Right.
And so we just chilling.
Just
You
chilling
just
and talking.
forget. Right. You forget that you're on camera. It happens all the time.
When you think about your podcast, you talked a little bit earlier about some of the things that you accomplished. What are some of your proudest moments of your podcast?
Oh, being able to be honest and transparent.
Hmm.
I cry. I take my lashes off. All these wonderful things that I don't put up a facade that I'm not real.
Right.
So we have real conversations, sometimes hard ones that should be with a therapist or something like that. I don't know why I'm sharing this. I don't know why I'm crying. I don't know. It's God working on you. I like the fact that title wise, I'm a minister too,
Hmm.
but I don't carry that as if to separate me and you. I don't do that.
Right.
I'm not a judgmental person because most of the stuff that we judge people for, I did it and liked it.
Hmm.
So when it comes to sunshine, I had a hard life too, but I'm showing you that if you want to be changed, you can be. If you
Hmm.
want to be kept, you can be. But I didn't do this on my own. It was all God. But
Right.
he also put a village around me to keep me where I need to be. And he's
Wow.
now continually to put me around new people who are where I want to be,
Hmm.
or even beyond that. I know what God has shown me. I just don't know when, but I know it's gonna happen because he said it.
Wow. Let's do another random question. This is going to be an
Mhm.
easy one. Name a song that includes sunshine in the lyrics.
Um, you are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are gray. You never know, dear, how much I love you. Please don't take my sunshine away.
Oh, we got a song out of you too. Yay. See, I told you these questions are totally random.
It's okay.
In reviewing your social media, I discovered your love for changing your hairstyles.
Oh,
On your blog, Dream Big, you stated hairstyles not only improve your look, but can also boost your self esteem. Speak to the importance of a woman's hairstyle enhancing their physical appearance.
wow. I totally forgot about that. For me, it's don't put me in a box.
Hmm.
I don't belong in a box. So when you think, now my favorite color is blue. Everybody should know this by now. So for a while, my hair was blue, 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 blue. And then I would switch up to my reds, my greens, my purple, however I was feeling at the moment. Right now, it's the two-tone blonde. We'll see how long that lasts. But however, enhancing your own beauty, however you see fit. I
Hmm.
don't copy off of celebrities. I just whatever feels good at the time. That's what it is. When I go to my hairdresser or my makeup artist, I let them be them. I am a canvas. I do have 14 tattoos. I am my own canvas. So every tattoo has a purpose. Every
Hmm.
tattoo has a story. So when I go to my beautician or my makeup artist, this is what they do for a living. You create. I trust you.
So,
Voila.
if you're talking to a female who may not be confident in who they are, how would you have that conversation with that female about enhancing what they have to make them feel better about themselves? Is it a hairstyle change? Is it a wardrobe change? What would that conversation be like?
First of all, confidence is a heart thing. It's in your mind. How do you see yourself? There was moments in my life when I was 330 something pounds, I didn't look in the mirror.
Mm.
I knew I wasn't happy. So why would I look? That's not where I wanted to be. But eventually I had to come to myself. What makes you happy is not the opinions of others.
Mm.
Because if you go off of others, you'll be screwed up in the head forever.
Mm.
Because one minute they with you and the next minute, you see how they did Marvin Sapp?
Right.
One minute they good, same man that brought you never would have made it. Now y'all crucifying them. At the end of the day, you be good with you. Nobody else's opinions matter. I can go in the room with Diana Ross, whatever, whoever. Her confidence is not going to diminish me at
Right.
all because I am me. And guess what? There is no other like me. Period.
I think you.
When he made me, that was it. He was like, you know what, Sunshine, you enough by yourself. We don't need nobody else. Nope.
In hearing you talk, it kind of leads me to think about social media and how everyone is influenced around what's going on in social media. How do you speak to a woman who maybe is challenged with what they're seeing on social media? You know, everybody's trying to follow the latest trends, whatever that is. As a woman, how do you deal with that, and how do you explain that to maybe to a young girl that's coming up? What is that conversation like?
A lot of times, there's filters that are not real. We take pictures to angles to make it look a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
Everything you see is not real, even down to relationships. You can only go off of right now what's in front of you
Right.
that you can literally touch. Everything else can be altered to make it look like something else. Doesn't mean it's true. We can go with some of the most famous Hollywood stars or relationships, and you come out to find out when they're broke up or done, you'll find out they probably didn't even live together 10 years of their relationship.
Right.
But you never saw that. So you can only go off the appearance of. That's all it is, an appearance of. I could take a picture right now and I can show you what I took 5 minutes ago. And it's not the exact same one. Why? Because I probably flipped my hair a certain way to make it look like it was this. I might change my lip color to make it seem like, oh, this is more popping than this. All these things is what you want the world to see. That's really what social media is. Because all of this stuff, 9 times out of 10, is probably not even real. Again, I don't go off of what I see as to be, it is what it is. No.
Right.
I only can go off of what's in my face at this very moment that I can say, hey, this is my hand. Anything else can be fabricated. You'll never know.
You're also a contract worker for the government, and you were
Yes.
recently awarded the President Impact Award for Excellence in the Workplace. What did that recognition mean to you?
Oh my gosh. One, it was okay. Let's go back to how do I say this? What we would say as manifestation. This has happened to me a couple of times in my life where I saw something and I kept repeating and saying and confessing it every day until it happened. I worked at Toyota for 6 years, and there I did the exact same thing. I was working at a call center, and I kept saying every day, Toyota is my job. Toyota is my job. And people thought I was crazy, but this is what I spoke
Wow.
every day until it happened. It happened a year later. So I spoke that thing for a year, and it came to pass. Had the job for 6 years. I did something dumb. However, that probably was the best job I ever had. Right? Again, when I got to my job, I don't know, I had this unction in my spirit. Something about Texas. Never been to Texas. Then it was prophesied to me that I would go to a place that grows cactus and it would have a hotter climate than Michigan. First thought was Arizona.
Mm.
The more and more time went past, I felt a safety or a security in Texas.
Mm.
When I got my job where I am now, I had no clue, no idea. Our corporate office is in Austin, Texas.
Wow.
The first week I was there, at the office where we are now, they have a conference every year in January where you get to go to Texas for a week. Well, it was only basically for those who are in management. You can get a +1.
Mm.
Most of these are guys who are married. So, of course, they're taking their wives. I'm like, well, that ain't going to work. How am I going to get to Texas? I don't know. 2 years later, they had a competition. I was selected for the competition. The first time in October, I didn't win, but they still had my name in their mouths. Yes, God. So I get an email in December about them getting ready to go to Texas in January. You have won this competition, and we would like for you to come to Texas. Say what?
Look at God.
Oh, we ain't done. So I put in for a competition to sing the national anthem in Texas. I didn't win, so I thought. Come closer to January, I'm already going for this speech that I have to speak to in 500 people
Mm.
in this conference room. The lady that they selected got sick. I was her runner-up. So not only did I get to speak, I got to sing the national anthem.
Wow.
When I got done, sir, when I got done, there was no dry eye in the place.
Mm-hmm.
When I got off the stage, I forgot what his rank was, but he had his own military coin. This man handed me a coin that I am one of few. Have it.
Mm.
People were asking me, are you a recording artist? Who are you? I felt like home there. Eventually, I'm just telling you now, I'm going to be in Texas. Mark this day, April 7th, 2025, 7:35 p.m. Okay.
A lot of good things in Texas.
So, yeah,
Wait,
I will be one.
And a lot of good restaurants.
Amen. Amen.
Texas has a really great culture for singing. A lot of my friends are in Texas. A lot of people I've interviewed for the show are out of Texas. So Texas, I think, will be good for you. So give me a reason to come hang out in Texas.
Absolutely. Yes, sir. I mean, it's all of what you believe and what God has actually shown me. It's like I am a pit bull. You can't deter me from what I already saw.
So when you think about your future,
Mm-hmm.
what do you see in your future that's next for Sunshine?
Well, the big goal is to take my podcast to television.
Okay.
I will be one of first. I used to say I was going to be a female Arsenio Hall / Ella DeGeneres, but I got corrected the other day from Bishop Ronzel Pretlow.
Mm-hmm.
He said, no, you will be you. Not them, but you will be you. And he told me something that just blew my mind, and which is already happening now with the manifestation.
Mm-hmm.
He said on my show, he said, you have a dope personality. Basically, your personality drew me in. Never met him before. Just saw him on social media. An awesome preacher, awesome singer. awesome husband, father, all these wonderful things. Got on my show maybe 2 weeks ago, if that. He says, I asked him the question about who he liked to collaborate with. He said some names. Excuse me. The next day he puts out a video and putting out in the atmosphere who he wanted to collaborate with. Small world. He runs into Tasha Lockhart. Tasha Page Lockhart. He said he wanted to do a collaboration with Lisa, her mom. In less than 2 weeks, catch this, in less than 2 weeks, it's already manifesting.
Wow.
Not only did he meet Tasha, he's setting up to work with Lisa as well.
Wow. People don't understand the importance of speaking things.
The crazy thing is, people were on our pages saying that was witchcraft. Like, what? Are you, huh? Yeah, I was lost. I said, I know the words say speak those things as though they were. And when it happens, it's manifesting what you already spoke. Right. So how is that witchcraft? Is beyond me. Yeah, it's so sad. But we can't stop what we already know is going to happen.
Right.
We just didn't see it per se. But I know it's going to happen. I know for a fact it's going to happen. And nobody, nothing is going to stop me from getting where I'm supposed to be. Period.
I think it's Bishop J. Drew Sheard who has a saying at his church, you have to see it before you see it. And I think that is so true. In like you said, sometimes you'll see it and it could take years before it becomes reality.
Absolutely.
But you have to see it first. I remember reading something about you have to pre-play in your mind what it is you want to be. You have to see yourself sitting in that executive chair. You have to see yourself on television. You have to see yourself doing those things. And, you know, the Bible talks about no good thing will God will hold for them that walk up right before him. If you're doing your part, God's going to do his part.
Absolutely. Even the second book that I put out, Can Prayer Change Things? That book was written in 2010. Mm-hmm. And I knew it was going to be something because this is when the big three was shut down, but Toyota promised that they would never lay anybody else off. So we were in there making $30-something an hour cleaning up the plant every day. I'm on the line. There's nobody out there. And God starts speaking to me and he says, so where's all the prayer warriors at? And I'm like, oh, I don't know. God, you know. And he said, have you ever considered or had a thought of how did prostitutes and pimps become who they were? I'm like, no. Basically, why would I? He said, hence, there's the problem. Did you really think that a pimp or a prostitute decided as a kid that's what they wanted to be when they grew up? We have circumstances that happen in our life.
Right.
That we sometimes get caught up in, or you think you can't get out of it. We know of several people, and you're one decision away from being homeless, one decision away from being the drug addict or the drug dealer or whoever else that you deem as the bad person.
Right.
Have you considered my servant Job? And this is where this story comes from. So it said, you're going to write from the lens of everybody that's associated with them. Who's praying? Who really cares? And that's where the story came from. Who's praying? Can prayer change things? Will it change things? or did it change things?
Mm-hmm.
Get the book and find out.
Yeah, that's a challenge.
Get the book and find out.
Okay. And what's the name of the book again?
Can prayer change things?
Okay. I'm going to have to pick that one up and see what the answer to that question is. Even I know that God is a prayer answering God.
Well, we say that, but do we really believe that?
I think it's, to be honest, in some human moments, we question
Mm-hmm.
that. Yeah,
Absolutely.
we believe God, we trust in Him, but there's some things that come along in life, and you're like, God, why? I don't, I don't understand the why behind why you allowed this to happen. You know, why did you put me in this situation? Even though I may have put my own situation in there, like God, why?
Mm-hmm.
I definitely agree with you about God again wondering what is it that He's doing. What is your plan? What is your end game for this one? Do you ever feel
Yeah,
like that?
we won't know until later. But sometimes we don't want to be patient. We want it right now.
Right.
We want what we see, but you don't know how and what they did to get there. Be careful. Then there's the whole idea He got to make you. If God gave me the millions 5 years ago, I would have blew it because of where my mindset was. I wasn't ready.
Right.
I wasn't ready. And so sometimes we got to go through some things. We got to get crushed. We got to get to our lowest of lows. And then
Sometimes
when
I
He brings you up, woo,
sometimes I tell people God has to prepare you for the place that you want to be in, because I think you bring up a good point. Sometimes we want to be in that place right now, but you're not ready for it.
no.
You're not prepared for it. And a lot of times it's not the skill set, it's the mental part of it.
Yes.
You know, you kind of talked on it earlier about how people will start coming after you because of what they think you can offer for their career.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And when God puts you in those places, you have to be in a space where you can handle that pressure. You can
Yes.
handle people coming after you. Do you feel that way sometimes?
Absolutely. Because people don't know. They see this, but you don't know what it took to be this.
Right.
They don't know. I mean, there's mental battles that you have to deal with on top of generational stuff that, is hidden or swept under the rug. There's a lot of things that most people who are in some type of light had to go through just to stay and maintain, but they don't see that part. So this is why we have to talk and have conversations. So it's not an assumption that you are under a false narrative that, no, honey, do you want this? Are you sure? Let me tell you the things I had to go through in order to be here. Are you willing to do that? Are you willing to sacrifice? Are you willing to? And then when you tell them the rundown, they change their mind. First of all, be you and stay in your lane.
Yeah.
Be you because He made you for a reason. Find out what your purpose is. Yeah, I want to help everybody, but everybody don't want my help. And it's cool.
And
They
it's
used to
okay.
feel bad
Yeah.
because you'd be like, but you on fire. You don't want me to put you out? No. Oh, okay. We'll
It's
keep
okay.
burning.
Yeah. When you get enough burns, you'll call.
Absolutely. And also when I wrote the book, He also informed God, that is, informed me that we have been taught to be prostitutes. All prostitutes don't walk the street.
Wow.
All pimps don't how they portray you or portray them in movies.
Hmm.
If we broke it down a lot, you'll understand. You want this from this guy? do X, Y, and Z, and he'll open up his pocketbook. Do we understand what the definition of prostitution is? As someone said the other day, if you paid your bills from your back.
Ooh. Okay. I never heard it said that way.
if your whole wardrobe and everything in your house came from a guy that you or she. Oh. Okay. Well, sometimes we just don't know what we're doing because we've been taught that.
That's what you saw growing up, or like you said, generations, and trying to break away from that. This has been an awesome conversation with my friend Sunshine. So we got to talk about how we finally connected. we didn't get into that story. Everybody knows that follows me on social media know I love to eat.
Yes.
And I was at a restaurant and somebody just showed up and like, are you? So how did we meet?
So I was there at a repast. We were at what's
Golden
the buffet
Corral.
place? Golden Corral. And I'm a people watcher. So I recognize a lot of people. I might not know the name, but I'm like, ooh, he looks like. And I sat there for a minute trying to figure out, where did I know you from? And then it popped in my head, name and everything. I'm like, are you? And he was like, yes, I am. And we talked for a minute, took a picture, and it started from there. And I said before, I remember seeing you in the Hart Plaza days. And, with your suit on, introducing all the choirs and the competitions. And I would see you at church programs and all of these different things. And I was like, man, this is history right here. Y'all don't, and I'm almost like, y'all don't know who this is. And I kept running into you ever since then. I keep running to you at different events or celebrating someone else at a concert. Saw you at Darius Twyman's. I've seen you somewhere else. And it was just like, I'm with people. I'm like, just follow me. You're going to learn a lot of people tonight. And they'd be like, what do you mean? You will see. As soon as we go in and you're going to keep saying, hey, Sunshine, or hey. This is why people think I know everybody. No, I don't. But however, I show myself friendly.
Right.
These are gospel greats. You need to know your history. You know what I'm saying? Like, duh. But for some people who don't know, it's like, oh my God, you really being like, I am a music head. I love gospel music. I love R&B music. Those probably the two big ones that I listen to. But gospel from Detroit, you can't beat it. You gotta know. What are you talking about? And so we started off from a food restaurant, but however, every time I saw you, it was so it was Darius, and before that, it was, I think we were at the Fox.
Oh, we were at Dietrich's concert.
Yes, Dietrich concert. So it's like, you gotta be in the building. You're missing these wonderful moments. Like, what are you talking about? And I believe from Dietrich is when we started setting this up.
Right.
Yes. And so again, I didn't see you at Whitfield, but like I said, the who's who of Detroit was in the building. And an astonishment of, I don't know when this is going to air, but I would love for everybody to go and support Larry Callahan in Palm Sunday. You thought Whitfield was something, you don't want to miss this experience with Larry Callahan. And I have some of my church family in their choir. So again, you have to support. Again, this is all a village. We're all under the same God. We're all serving the same Jesus. So it's not just about one group. It's about all of us serving God and supporting one another.
Well, again, I thank you for stopping by the Carl B. Phillips Show. How can people watch your podcast? How can they follow you on social media? And how can they contact you?
Facebook, I am Sunshine Kamilah, Kamela. That's not really how you spell my name, but however, is how you're going to pronounce it, right? On YouTube, I am Keepin It Real Conversations with Sunshine. Please like, share, and subscribe. On IG, I have 2 accounts, which is Sunshine Kamilah, as well as Keepin It Real Conversations. You can email me as well at CamilahFoster51@gmail.com. And those are the ways to get in touch with me.
Before we wrap up, I'd like for you to speak to someone about the importance of never giving up on your dream.
So, even though it has not happened, if God showed it to you, keep believing it. Keep moving forward. No doesn't mean no. God could be saving you from something. Just keep moving. At this time, if you do more than one thing, explore it all. You never know what door or what opportunities will happen for you. I don't just sing. I write music as well. I don't just do this. I act as well. So again, I'm an author. I don't let one thing just lie dormant. No matter what age you are, no matter the creed, no matter whatever it is, do not limit yourself. Keep digging. Yeah, that part. I heard you, God. Keep digging. There's still a well, right? Wells go deep, deep. That's why they call whales. However, when it springs up, all the streams of income, where you want to go, keep digging. What happened to the hillbillies, Beverly Hillbillies? What happened to them? Did some crew come up? They struck oil. And then what happened? They packed up their house and they moved to California. In the Beverly Hillbillies. In the Beverly Hills. Where the rich don't look like them. Hello. The rich don't look like you. Hello. Whether your hair is blue, your lips is purple, it don't matter. Rich is rich. Hello, somebody. So
you just
all I can tell you is keep it moving. No matter what, don't let nobody and their opinion stop you. Don't let no denomination, any of that. Did I say that? Oh, I'm sorry. Don't let anybody stop you from being you. Please don't. Because God is looking for that. People are looking for difference. They're looking for honesty and transparent. Hey, I'm a minister who got 14 tattoos. 3 holes in my ear. Used to have my tongue pierced. Listen. Blonde hair, blue hair, all of these different things. It didn't stop me. Guess what? It was an evangelism tool. They look and admire what I look like. Then we can have a conversation about God. Don't limit yourself. That's all I'm going to say.
Well, again, I thank you for stopping by the Carl B. Phillips Show. Everybody, remember to check out the podcast, Keepin It Real Conversation with Sunshine on YouTube. Again, thank you so much for listening today. I always close my show by saying this. Remember to work like you don't need the money, love like you've never been hurt, and dance like no one's watching you. And keep it real with Sunshine. God bless until we have a chance to meet again.
The Carl B. Phillips Show is produced by Carl B. Phillips for Prove Me Productions. For more information about Carl B. Phillips, visit carlbphillips.com. Subscribe to The Carl B. Phillips Show on YouTube or your favorite podcast outlet.